Okay, so product rule. How do I take the derivative of the product of two functions? Product means multiplication here. So if f and g's derivatives both exist, then the derivative of their product, the derivative of f times g, is f times the derivative of g plus g times the derivative of f. It is your first function, f, times the derivative of second, I'm just going to do a d second for shorthand, first times the derivative of second plus your second function times the derivative of first, the second function. Times the derivative of first. Right, where here is your first function, f being the first function, and g being your second function. Okay, so what a bummer. It would be nice if I could just think about the derivative of f and the derivative of g and multiply them together, but I can't. This is the rule. Common mistake. Mistake is to just take the derivative of f, just take the derivative of g, and multiply them together. It's reasonable to think that. After all, for sums and differences, we could compartmentalize our thinking. But for product rule, we need to first identify that we need product rule, and then we need to go after each one of these pieces. Okay, so differentiate h of x is e to the x square root x. So first, I need to see that we do in fact have a product of two functions of x. We could write the square root of x as x to the 1/2 power. That's helpful. But I need to see that we've got multiplication going on here. So I need product rule. With a lot of practice, you're going to just start jumping in and doing this, but since it's our first problem, I really think we should do some scratch work. So let's do that. Scratch. Okay, so my first function here, my f of x, is e to the x. Your first function. Okay, I need the derivative of that. The derivative of f of x, the derivative of e to the x, is e to the x. I have a second function as well. Your second function is square root of x, or if you want, x to the 1/2 power. G of x is x to the 1/2 power. In power rule, I'm going to need the derivative of the second function as well. Right? I need g prime. So I'm going to zoom in over there, and let's just get g prime. Okay. So g prime of x, doing power rule, 1/2 x to the 1/2 minus 1 power. 1 is 2 halves. So we've got 1/2 times x to the 1/2 minus 2/2 is to the minus 1/2 power. And maybe I'll rewrite that as 1 all over 2 x to the 1/2 power, which is 1 all over 2 times the square root of x. So I now have all 4 pieces in product rule. I have my first function, f of x. I have the derivative of the second function, g prime of x, plus my second function, g of x, times the derivative of my first function, and the derivative of my first function is e to the x. Okay. So that's all my scratch work. Now I'm just going to stitch it all together. Right. So h of x, we got plenty of space, so I think I'll just rewrite h of x down here. H of x is e to the x times x to the 1/2 power. H prime of x, h prime of x is going to be my first function, e to the x, there she is in blue, times the derivative of my second. The derivative of my second is 1 all over 2 root x, green, plus my second function, g of x, x to the 1/2 power, or we could write square root of x if we want. I think I probably will. Times the derivative of my first function, and my first function's derivative is e to the x. And done. Let's just clean this up a little bit. My derivative, here multiplying fractions straight across, e to the x times 1 all over 1 times 2 root x is just e to the x all over 2 square root of x, plus square root of x is x to the 1/2 power. Square root of x times e to the x looks a little odd. Order doesn't matter in multiplication, but sometimes people are lazy and they just don't, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes people don't know, like, am I stopping the root here or is it extending? So I think writing e to the x times the square root of x looks a little bit more readable. And done. If you wanted to factor out an e to the x, you're more than welcome to do so, but this is sufficient. If you want. Okay, so now what you want to do when you're taking a derivative is not jump in too fast, and you want to look at how things are put together. One function of x times another function of x. Oh, I gotta do product rule. Okay, scratch is recommended. There's our final answer.